Okay, so as before, Chapter 7 is above us. The ladder will be here now. It was there, again, we're running on a completed file, so it was already here before Chapter 6 for us, but it lowers down for you prior to Chapter 7, and you use that ladder to get to the Chapter 7 portal. We're at the top of the lighthouse. Last chapter, and then the lighthouse will be fixed. So, for the last hour or so, we've been going from the left to the right. Because the developers are mean, they thought, last chapter, let's switch it up. And we're going to move right to left. You're going to have to do it. Oh. Now, the first portion of this chapter, deceptively hard. Don't land in the sludge, water, whatever. Whoops.
Like that.
Like I just did.
Now you're stuck.
That was a demonstrate. I did that on purpose, just to demonstrate. If you land in the swamp, I don't know what kind of liquid this is, almost without exception, you can't get out. You can't jump out of it. And there are cigarettes in there that will kill you. So these swings are very important to do well. But that's it. It's a pretty short section, but it's harder than it looks. And there's a little snake friend. And our kids, for some reason,
are breaking into yet another place they are absolutely not supposed to be.
Are we the baddies?
Maybe.
I don't know why this room exists.
But it's not a valid round unless he asks why it exists.
All right, here we have the first puzzle of Chapter 7. We call this the Clockwork Puzzle, and for the longest time, this was the white whale of puzzle skips. We used to do the entire puzzle, and then we found a way to do an intentional tangle.
And it took longer than the puzzle, but we still did it because we hated the puzzle that much.
Yes, it was a slower solution than the intended solution, but we hated doing the intended solution so much that we did it anyway. It was an intended tangle followed by a checkpoint reset. Then we found this. Ta-da!
It's beautiful. It gives me so much joy.
Jump on that lever there. You're going to want to wait for just a second until you can grab those. Pull that down.
These wall jumps suck.
Yeah, that set of wall jumps that I just did there are weirdly hard. It's really easy to miss those wall jumps.
I
don't know why, but it really is. Push this little cog wheel. Oops. All right, couple of ways you can solve this. We'll show you.
Long swing?
We'll show you two methods. Neither of them the intended one. So both of them start out the same way. We're going to do that. Here's what we used to do until pretty recently. This is another big swing, kind of like we did in Chapter 3. Whee! And now I'm all the way over here. And the idea is I push this cog wheel down. So I'm going to push this wheel down. It falls over, goes into that hole. Ray zoops up to me. And now this gate is moving, and we can just go under the gate. Or, what if we wanted to go over the gate? So shift over to this one.
From here, you could, again, push down the cogwheel.
Or...
And again, someone has shown that you can get there with just regular swings,
yes.
So technically inbounds.
Yeah, we assumed that that was an out-of-bounds skip for a while because we didn't think it was possible to get on top of that gate without using zoops. Because again, rule of thumb for out-of-bounds, if you can't do it without zoops, it's not inbounds. But then someone showed that you could do it with a perfect swing. So it's inbounds. It's fair game. All right, here's another puzzle that we're just going to skip the entirety of. The intended solution involves like going over here and
whatever,
pulling
who
some
cares?
levers and stuff. I don't
Boring.
know. It's slow and forever taking and boring, and I don't want to do it. My zoops aren't working tonight, man. There we go. Now I'm up here. Okay, here's an important thing. I'm going to stay here. Instead of just immediately proceeding, I stand here, Ray zoops to me, and then Ray unmerges, and then we move along. Reason being, we have found, we think, this is the working theory. That checkpoint that I was standing in, that little light there, that's a checkpoint. If you don't both hit that checkpoint, if you don't both trigger that checkpoint, it can cause this next screen transition to not load properly. We're about to transition to the last portion of the chapter, and what would happen pretty frequently is instead of transitioning to the next portion, it would fade to black and then fade back in the exact same screen. We'd be in the same place, and we would have to pause, restart the checkpoint, and then do the puzzle over again, and then it would work. And it was a huge time loss. Since changing to making sure that we both hit that checkpoint, we have not once had a problem with it. So I'm fairly confident that that was the trick. So we both pull these levers. Floodgates come up. And the rapids. I like this music. If you don't get the music, and that does sometimes happen, sometimes you're stuck with the weird
ominous
tones. Music. That's okay. It doesn't cause any problems. It just makes this section a lot less joyous. Okay, so we're no longer moving left to right, which is cool, but instead we have a brand new mechanic for the last, 4 or 5 minutes of the game called double jumps. And that's exactly what it is. It's a double jump. You can jump, and then you can jump again.
And there are no puzzles. There are no skips. This is just get good and have fun.
Mm-hmm. The fastest way to do this section is to not die. Hey, it's our kids. Alright, so you've got these ribbons here. They act as anchor points, but like long anchor points. And you can kind of thread across them to get extra speed. That's a little bit risky though, because it can send you rocketing off into God knows what direction. Alright, I'm stopping right here because I want to point something out. Obviously there's fire in the water. Safe bet that the fire kills you, right? You can land in the water and the water doesn't kill you. It just slows you down some. The fire does. This right here is the beginning of 5 consecutive screens with no checkpoints and a lot of fire. So if you die anywhere before there's a waterfall at the end of the next 5 screens, if you die before the waterfall, you start here. So don't die. So I tend to play this part pretty safe. Because again, safe strats are fast strats. So my preferred method of handling these ribbons, and I'm not doing a very fast job of it right now, my preferred method of handling these ribbons is once I reach the end of the ribbon, I immediately use my double jump, and that gets me a lot of speed and a lot of distance.
But
so there you go.
if you do it at the right type of jump.
And now I'm safe. I'm past that checkpoint. Whoops. Don't touch this pallet.
Oh, what?
Oh, it actually doesn't matter. If you touch the pallet or if you land nearby that pallet. Also, our kids just knocked somebody into the water. Did anybody else see that?
That was
I don't know that they murdered the guy, but they sure did try. Anyway, the pallet will release from where it's sitting and it just follows you. Now it's stuck here. It doesn't actually matter. I just like to try and avoid it because for the memes, I guess. I don't know.
There's not much else to do in this part of the game, honestly. Okay, I'm going to show you something really cool here. He's using his double jump.
Mm-hmm.
I can unmerge and use my double jump. So
yes, if I use my double jump and am in the air post double jump, and Ray unmerges from me while I'm in the air, she still has a double jump, usually. Sometimes it just doesn't work. There you go. So that's helpful. Again, we mentioned it's kind of a double-edged sword to run separated. It's especially true in the rapids.
There are a ton of places to tangle in the rapids.
There are very, very, very few safe zoop points.
So basically, I only unmerge if he is about to die, and the only way to save him is to be my own person for a second.
Little salmon section here. Climbing up the waterfall. Oops. So this is not a great example of just make your way through the rapids as fast as you can, but that's generally the the strategy is just make your way through the rapids as fast as you can. And in my experience, the fastest way to make it through the rapids is by not dying.
Let me show you. Earlier he said you can kind of thread your way across these. Let me show you what he means. If you continually hit the lasso button, the R button, you can kind of see how much extra speed I got there. But then you don't have as much control at the end of it, and I was absolutely going to land in that fire. So that's kind of the danger with that. It's kind of a choice you have to make in how you want to run the rapids. Do you want to do triggers, or do you want to do the sort of jumps that he's doing? Or some combination thereof. Absolutely is, of course, fine. But now you have seen triggers, and you know what they look like. Gotcha.
Alright, we are almost home free.
This big old tall tree means we're almost done.
Yep. Time is going to be as you pass through a gate at the end of this next screen. There's one more ribbon. And time.
To be there.
Congratulations! You have speedrun Unravel 2. There's a neat ending cutscene here. Our kids are officially safe. They have escaped their tormentors. And our Yarnies
Get to save all of their friends.
get to save all of their friends. So here you have these shadow monsters kind of just wrecking the lighthouse, just laying waste to it. And here's our light, our fairy friend, come to save the day. So you have all these alternate colors and body shapes and head shapes. All of these Yarnies you can rescue by completing 20 challenge levels as you kind of go along. So there's 7 chapters that we just did, and then 20 challenge levels in addition to those. And at the end of every challenge level, there's a Yarnie that's like trapped in a little cage. And if you free the Yarnie, you get access to that Yarnie's color and that Yarnie's body and head that you can then use in future runs. Which again, as we mentioned, because you have to do the speed run in a fresh file, you don't get the body or head shapes. You do get most of the colors. So you have a lot of colors to choose from, but only, I think, 2 head shapes and maybe only 1 body. I'm not sure.
2 bodies.
2 bodies?
It's like a shirt and a dress.
Oh, there you go. Anyway, that's Unravel 2. We really, really love this game. It means a lot to us. It's very important to us. It's the first co-op speedrun that Ray and I ever learned, and it's the one we've been doing for the longest, obviously. And it's very, very near and dear to our hearts. So we hope you will join the community and begin running it as well. We hope that this tutorial was helpful to you. If you ever have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out to us. You can find me on Twitter. My Twitter is at thistweetaresick, S-I-C, no K. It's a grammar joke. You can come find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/thisguyrsick, sick with a K, CK. And Miss Ray is often there with me. We run co-op a lot on my channel. And join the Unravel 2 speedrunning Discord. A lot of really, really great people there that can answer any questions that you have. yeah, it's a great game. I have a lot of fun running it. I hope you will as well. Thanks very much. All right. This is Ryan.
This is Ray.
Signing off. Thanks,
Bye.
everyone.